Welcome, it's denome. As you know, Russia is the most sanctioned country in the world by far, and now we have 300 new sanctions, and these new sanctions are targeting foreign financial institutions that support Russia. And why I'm talking about this is because when we talk about financial institutions and sanctioning them, they will have ramifications around the globe for geopolitical things, but also for asset prices. And when we talk about Tether USDT, 70% of all stablecoins are actually USDT. So the market cap of USDT is so big that if there's going to be a change in or sanctioning of USDT, that will obviously scare a lot of investors. So why would they be sanctioned is because of this article here. So this article says that Russian firms turn to crypto for China commodities trade. And this is from 2 weeks ago by Bloomberg, and it says that two top metals producers, which are both unsanctioned, have begun to use Tether USDT and some other cryptocurrencies to settle trades or cross-border transactions with Chinese clients. And they are done through Hong Kong. And then there are also other countries that are using USDT, like it says that Venezuela, because they have large crude oil reserves, and they are increasingly doing transactions using Tether. So in my previous video, we were talking about the CBDC, mBridge in specific. By the way, watch that video if you haven't. But in that video, we talked about Saudi Arabia having ended the contract between the United States and Saudi Arabia for the petrodollar deal, the peace treaty that allowed Saudi Arabia to have security guarantees from United States, but also meant that Saudi Arabia only was able to sell oil in USD, which created a lot of demand for USD when it was still live. But that was allowed to expire. They may still renegotiate a new deal with that, but currently there's no deal at least signed as far as I know. So Tether is one of those things that you are actually able to circumvent these sanctions. And as this article lays out here, it is being used for this very purpose. So Tether could be sanctioned. And if Tether will be sanctioned, it means that obviously all the exchanges in the United States will hold Tether. And as well, if you are in Europe or Australia or Canada or UK or Japan, any ally country for United States, those exchanges will probably block USDT as well. So that could cause a panic in the crypto world. So let's actually take a look at the sanctions first, then I will take a look at how big is this world trade in USDT actually. So let's go back to the sanctions page here. So Russia's war economy is deeply isolated from international financial system, and this is absolutely true. It is becoming more isolated as it is being sanctioned, but at the same time, if you sanction Russia and you sanction all of the third countries that supply to Russia, so you are basically sanctioning half the world, so you are also becoming more isolated yourself. So it goes both ways. So yes, you are isolating Russia, that's 100% true. And in these sanctions, they are targeting the financial system, and they're actually targeting the networks of laundering gold. And I think this is interesting because in the previous video where we talked about the CBDC, we were talking about the gold standard and the possible increased demand for gold going into the future. So now we are talking about gold again, which I think is quite interesting and just underlines the bullish case for gold in my opinion. So they are sanctioning thing. I will talk about these soon. They are also limiting the revenue from liquefied natural gas. So pretty much the allies of USA are no longer able to buy liquefied natural gas, at least through conventional means. So it might increase the prices of natural gas in, let's say, mostly Europe. But that's the situation there. And obviously it will have an impact on Russia's economy as well, but I don't think it will have as much of an impact because Russia still has India and it has China as partners. But one interesting sanction here was the Moscow exchange, which allows you to basically trade stocks, derivatives, foreign exchange, money market products, fixed income assets, and so on. So this got sanctioned here. Some software and IT was sanctioned as well. And crypto was mentioned one time in this article, and that was when they said that this company, this public joint stock company Polyus, is basically selling Russia origin gold in exchange for fiat currencies and cryptocurrencies through United Arab Emirates and Hong Kong front companies. So this company is being sanctioned here. And then when we go to the implications section here, it basically says that everybody who is in this list is basically blocked. So if a United States bank holds any assets of these people or persons or companies, they will be blocked and frozen, as well as if any of these parties or companies or people, they own more than 50% of a company, that those will be blocked as well. And all the transactions made by any of these companies or people will be blocked if they ever enter any United States ally institution, as well as if you provide any goods or services or give any benefit to any of these companies or people or whatever in this list, then you might be sanctioned as well. And there's a warning here as well for foreign financial institutions that if you provide any service involving Russia's military industrial base, you run the risk of being sanctioned. So this is basically a warning to Tether that, hey, you need to stop all of this trade if any Russia aligned entity is trading USDT. So this is the threat there, not only for Tether but anything else as well. Turkey was mentioned 16 times here. So Turkey, I think it's interesting. It's a NATO country. So it's mentioned 18 times here, no, 16 times. So that's there. Yeah, that's about it. Now let's actually talk about how big is this USDT trade with Russia actually. So for that, let's actually hop over to Santiment. So this is the tool where I look under the hood of Bitcoin and altcoins. And right now what we are looking at is the total volume of USDT. So when we take a look at the total volume, you can see that it has been on the decline after the peak of this bull run so far. And right now the total volume of USDT daily volume is $53.41 billion. And when we take a look at the size of these bars, you can see they are much smaller than in 2020, 2021. So $53 billion is a lot, but in the context of global trade, it's not really a lot. And if we think, let's say, all of this trade here was before the sanctions in 2020, this was only for cryptocurrency transactions. If we, let's say, remove all the crypto transactions from whatever transactions are left, we are only talking about maybe like a maximum $1 billion per day, maybe $2 billion per day. So that's not a lot in the context of global trade. So in my opinion, this is a very, very small issue in the context of USDT. And this is even smaller when we compare the market cap of USDT. So when we take a look at the market cap of USDT, you can see in 2021, the market cap of USDT was about $62 billion. And now, today, it is double than that, $112 billion. So even though the market cap has doubled of USDT, the transactional volume has actually decreased from 2021, which is quite weird, which means that people want to actually hold USDT rather than trade it as much as before, which is a little bit odd, but it is what it is. But all in all, it doesn't seem that this is actually a huge, huge problem. And as well, when we take a look at the other side of the coin, which is the Moscow exchange, there's this beautiful post on Twitter that says that Russia is now is in panic and Ruble collapse is anticipated. Several banks in Russia have halted withdrawals and online transfers. MOEX brokers are blocking foreign currency withdrawals. MOEX have halted trading of the Hong Kong dollar as well because it is pegged to the United States dollar. And there's this video of people queuing up for whatever institution this is. But let's actually unpack this a little bit, because this is also exaggerated in my opinion. First of all, this guy is born in Ukraine, which is fine. I have no issue with that. But when we take a look at this queue here, you can see the office is right about here because there's the Russian flag. And these windows seem to be closed, which means that this queue here is not too long. So if you've ever queued up for, let's say, even a postal office, you might have seen higher or longer queues than this. So they are just waiting for this whatever place to actually open. So at least this video doesn't seem to me that it is in a massive panic mode. But it could be like a massive panic, and the panic is just online, I don't know. But at least on the street, it doesn't seem like a massive panic. And when we take a look at the Russian ruble against the United States dollar, or actually the United States dollar against the Russian ruble, you can see that the value of the dollar has increased against the ruble, but the last 2 months there's actually been a decline on the dollar against the ruble. So even in this scenario, it doesn't seem like people are panicking and selling their rubles for US dollars and whatever they can get their hands on. So as a final analysis of all of these things, I think there's a better alternative than USDT for Russia. First of all, a better alternative is Russian ruble. So why would you trade Russian ruble with Russia? Obviously because they have natural resources, so you want to have Russian ruble. The second thing that you can use to circumvent these sanctions is Chinese yuan, or the Indian, I think it's ruble as well. Yeah, those are the best three options that you have. And sorry about that. Then you could also use gold, obviously, for the trade between Russia and other parties. So it's just much better than USDT, because even USDT, your account could still be frozen, even though they say that there's less risk of it being frozen. So yes, it is true that USDT could still be sanctioned, but I don't think the issue is really that big. I think it's a minuscule problem. There's going to be a bigger problem for United States if they actually sanction USDT and there is no problem with USDT in other terms. Because that means that USA is hostile against crypto, but it could have an impact on the price of Bitcoin if the USDT is sanctioned. So it is still in the risk zone of being sanctioned, but the risk is not as high, in my opinion. And that's basically my final say on the matter, is that it could be sanctioned, but the risk seems still to be low because there's not really that much transactional volume, even though these headlines make it seem like, oh yes, because of the sanctions now, Russia is just using USDT as instead. So that's everything pretty much I had for this video and this geopolitical event here. So personally, I don't support USA, I don't support Russia, I'm trying to be somewhere in the middle. So if you like this kind of reporting as well as analysis of the crypto markets, Bitcoin, gold, you can subscribe to this channel as well, and I will see you on the next video. Thanks and bye-bye.